Dorothea Dix was born to a circuit-riding preacher named Joseph Dix and his wife Mary Bigelow Dix on April 4, 1802 in Hampton, Maine. At the age of 12, she left to live with her grandmother in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Her father was an abusive alcoholic and her mother had bad health.
Dorothea was able to pursue her dreams as an author, teacher, nurse, and much more.
Dorothea was the first child out of 3.
Asylum means mentally ill.
The movement itself was to improve the treatment of the mentally ill in mental institutions and hospitals.
The asylum movement happened during World War II.
Money was donated to asylum management.
Dorothea visited a jail facility because she volunteered to teach and saw the crucial behavior set upon the mentally ill. They were crowded in one room. She asked for the one responsible and the meaning of the act. The owner said the mentally ill do not feel cold or heat. She was appalled and took them to court.
There isn't a single human being who hasn't plenty to cry over, and the trick is to make the laughs outweigh the tears. You never saw a very busy person who was unhappy. The jealous bring down the curse they bear upon their own head. Confession is always weakness. The grave soul keeps its own secrets and takes its own punishment in silence. It is only the women whose eyes have been washed clear with tears who get the broad vision that makes them little sisters to all the world. Dorothea Dix sent a letter to the government to make changes for how people diagnosed with mental issues or have an alcoholic obsession were treated. First, she stated the requirements for the environment. The environment wasn't suitable for the mental patients, creating a sickening atmosphere which made many of the patients grow more ill. Dorothea Dix made a request to change the law. Dorothea Dix Hospital was created in North Carolina. This hospital was created for the mentally ill who didn't have the ability to stay with their families. In 1841, Dorothea Dix decided to improve the care for the mentally ill. She was a nurse and had an educational background with science. Therefore, she decided she would take her knowledge and prove that the testimonies were wrong. Even though Dorothea Dix was the creator of the hospital, she didn't want it to be named after her. However, the site that was built was called Dix Hill because of her father. 100 years had passed and they decided to change the name to Dorothea Dix Hospital. Letters were written to Dorothea Dix by her family members and friends. Each of them say something differently. Some say how much they love her and it looks like at some point in her life she wanted to commit suicide, but her Liggy helped her out of it. During the asylum movement, Dorothea Dix recited a speech at the Massachusetts legislature and received positive feedback on the reaction from most citizens. Different groups of people reacted differently to her expedition, especially people who were religious, such as Catholic nuns. Society reacted because they thought before it was acceptable to banish or treat vaguely towards people with behavior disorders. Dorothea Dix made it possible for the crucial process to end. One of the main reasons Dorothea reacted is because while many people thought that the criminally insane deserved nothing and would be given nothing, Dorothy set her mind to getting more rooms and more personal space between one another. Sick people should have not been treated like animals. She dedicated portions of her life to educate poor children. spent the remainder of life reforming the treatment of mentally ill, and with what she earned, she decided to make a difference to those in need.
Mental institutes had better treatment.
Dorothea won a reward because she earned respect for both men and women.
Dorothea Dix helped establish 5 hospitals in the U.S.